Angel Reese explained the real reason behind Caitlin Clark's move to Europe. She denied the rumors and said that Caitlin's decision was mainly about money. Angel didn't stay quiet about Caitlin's European contract. She stepped in and made her opinion known, stirring things up.
What the fuck is that headline all about?
Yeah.
Yep,
she is the worst fucking basketball player.
In the WNBA, we've never seen anything like this before. Someone so focused on causing drama. Angel Reese, who is still dealing with her own steroid scandal, criticized Caitlin Clark. She claimed that some players are only in it for the money and are using racism to gain sympathy.
People talk about Caitlin getting hate, but someone sat down and spent hours putting together an 8-minute video with interlude clips all to trash Angel. Why?
But when the entitled complaints are coming from Angel Reese, it makes news throughout the mainstream media.
It's obvious that Angel Reese is targeting Caitlin Clark. But the surprising part is that Caitlin has never said anything negative about Reese or any other black player. For some reason, it feels like today, some people don't deserve to be ignored.
Blah, blah, blah. From Angel Reese.
We all know Caitlin Clark heading to Europe isn't just about trying something new or getting a different paycheck. It's really about escaping the toxic environment that the WNBA has become. At first, the WNBA might have seemed like a dream for someone like her, a player made to dominate. But in reality, it was anything but that. She wasn't just out there shooting hoops. She was also dealing with scandals and judgment, like it was part of the game.
Entitled players in the WNBA just can't seem to understand is, you get what you put in, and right now, you are getting exactly what you deserve.
And why did this happen? Because Caitlin Clark chose to stay quiet while others tried to paint her as a villain. Some of her fellow athletes and even a few media figures labeled her a racist. Seriously, where do they even get these ideas? But Clark, being the calm and focused player she is, didn't fall for it. She didn't waste her time responding to these ridiculous accusations. Instead, she stayed focused on what really mattered, basketball. Yet, despite her efforts to stay out of the drama, the storm around her kept growing, like something out of a bad reality show.
So I think it's really just the fans, her fans, the Iowa fans, now the Indiana fans.
Then Alyssa Thomas, clearly not a fan of Caitlin Clark, decided to add fuel to the fire. She went public, blaming Clark for racist comments made by some of her fans. Yep, you read that right. Thomas somehow believed that Clark had control over what random people in the stands were saying.
I think in my 11-year career, I've never experienced the racial comments from the Indiana Fever fan base.
It's absurd, right? It wasn't even about anything Caitlin Clark did or said. No, Alyssa Thomas was just trying to shift the spotlight away from her own struggles. She took her frustrations, jealousy, and whatever else was going on inside her, wrapped it all up into a neat little accusation, and threw it right at Clark.
Then she had a press conference where she cried and everybody's so mean to me. Well, she's continued the stupidity. I mean, she cheered on her teammate as she shoved Caitlin Clark, knocked Caitlin Clark in the head, and a bunch of other stupid stuff.
But here's the thing. Caitlin Clark didn't have to do anything wrong to become a target. The love she was getting from fans, the way her name dominated every highlight reel and headline, that was enough to spark a jealousy fire in the WNBA. And it wasn't just random trolls online. It was the very players she was sharing the court with. Instead of celebrating her greatness, some of them just couldn't handle it.
It's unacceptable, honestly. And there's no place for it. And we've been professional throughout the whole entire thing, but I've never been called the things that I've been called on social media, and there's no place for it.
Angel Reese had her own moment in the spotlight, sure. But let's be real. Caitlin Clark's rise was on a whole other level, and it was clear Angel wasn't thrilled about it. While Clark was becoming the face of the league, Reese was on the sidelines, watching the spotlight pass her by. It didn't take long for the resentment to start building up. These players had spent their whole careers grinding, hoping to get the kind of attention Caitlin Clark was getting. But here she was, a rookie, grabbing it all up like it was nothing. Instead of stepping up their game, some chose to let jealousy do the talking. Suddenly, everything Clark did was under a microscope. Any little reason to bring her down, they grabbed it with both hands.
But who gives a rat's ass?
That's why Europe feels like a sweet escape for Caitlin Clark. It's not just about playing in a different league with a new vibe. It's about breathing fresh air that isn't filled with the toxic atmosphere the WNBA have been throwing her way. The jealousy, the petty accusations, the constant drama. None of it had anything to do with basketball anymore. And Clark knew it. She didn't owe anyone another second of her time in that mess.
No, it's going to Caitlin Clark fans are mean. And if Caitlin Clark fans are mean and they're white, where does this head? Oh, you know it goes to racist.
While her critics are busy stirring the pot, Caitlin Clark is already miles ahead, doing what she does best, letting her game speak louder than all the noise. The fact that she chose Europe over the WNBA offseason is her way of saying, I don't need to stick around for this nonsense. Let's be honest, the atmosphere surrounding her in the WNBA had nothing to do with basketball anymore. It had turned into a jealousy-fueled frenzy, with players and commentators jumping at every chance to tear her down, not because of what she did, but because of how the world was embracing her. And to them, that was the real crime.
Now they found another victim. The fans of Indiana. Now, I'm going to side a little bit with these idiots.
Angel Reese didn't just throw shade. She backed up a dump truck and unloaded it. She claimed that Caitlin Clark's decision had nothing to do with escaping the WNBA's toxic atmosphere. Nope, Reese wanted everyone to know it was purely about one thing: money. To her, Clark was just out there chasing the big bucks, ignoring all that talk about toxic teammates or dirty play. Angel's convinced it's all a front. But let's take a step back. Is this really about money? Or is Reese just trying to distract everyone from the fact that she's knee-deep in her own mess? Let's be real. Reese's name is still making headlines because of that steroid scandal she's tangled up in. Her career is hanging by a thread, and when you're that deep in trouble, it's a lot easier to point fingers at someone else and face your own problems. So instead of owning up to being caught with performance enhancers, she decided, why not drag Caitlin Clark down with me?
Her attention, her notoriety is based off Caitlin Clark. Because she wins the national title, first thing she does, she mocks Caitlin Clark. And then she doesn't even celebrate with her teammates. So she's made it personal with Caitlin Clark.
And here's the kicker. Reese didn't stop at Clark. Oh no, she went full throttle, implying that every player in the WNBA, including Clark, is just there for money. The irony is so thick you could cut it with a knife. This is coming from the same player whose career nearly imploded because she got caught using steroids to gain an edge. It's classic deflection. She's drowning in her own scandal, so she's throwing accusations around like confetti to keep the heat off herself.
But Angel Reese, so she's sort of embraced a Draymond Green role here. But the eyeballs on the WNBA really have to do with Caitlin Clark.
Let's not forget the timeline. Caitlin Clark's European adventure was announced in mid-October 2024, right as the WNBA season was wrapping up. Meanwhile, Angel Reese was already getting roasted over her steroid suspension, with headlines dragging her name through the mud for weeks. By the time Clark was gearing up for Europe, Reese had already been in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. Steroids, EPO, anabolic drugs. You name it. Her reputation? Toast.
I do think that some of this drama, and she started some of it, to be fair.
Yet here's Angel Reese, trying to make Caitlin Clark look like the greedy one. It's almost laughable. Reese, facing rumors of a lifetime ban, lawsuits from the Chicago Sky, and a career that's pretty much down the drain, has the nerve to act like Clark is making shady moves. But luckily, the sports world isn't buying what Reese is selling. Analysts from Stephen A. Smith to Patrick Bet-David have been roasting Reese for her blatant hypocrisy. They are calling her out for trying to distract from her steroid scandal by attacking Clark. And the public? Yeah, they are pretty much done with Reese's antics.
We've heard all of that. It's real. We want to act like, well, let's not focus on that. Let's just march forward and let's just move forward. Well, guess what? You can't move forward when you ignoring the past.
When you zoom out and look at the bigger picture, Reese's downfall didn't start with Clark's European trip. It actually began the moment those steroid allegations hit the news in early September 2024. When it came out that Reese had tested positive for performance enhancers, the WNBA world flipped upside down. She got suspended. Her coach, Teresa Weatherspoon, was fired for allegedly enabling her, and the Chicago Sky even hit her with a lawsuit. Meanwhile, while all of this was going on, Caitlin Clark was just out there, minding her business and racking up wins.
Death threats, I've been sexualized, I've been threatened, I've been so many things, and I've stood strong.
But Reese couldn't handle watching Clark succeed. And let's face it, it's been no secret that Reese has been green with envy over Clark's rise. The timing of her attacks on Clark isn't a coincidence. Reese's own career was in free fall, and the worse things got for her, the more she went after Clark.
Angel Reese is the villain, Caitlin Clark is the hero, and Angel Reese continued to play into it last night by getting ejected, and it's almost like it's all scripted. This is perfect for the WNBA. She's all the talk. She's the one standing up there in front of reporters saying, I need all of you guys to realize there's two of us that changed the game of women's basketball, and it's not just Caitlin Clark. I was a part of that.
It's the kind of petty drama that makes you cringe. Watching a player who was once considered a rising star in the WNBA resort to this. Remember when Angel Reese was setting records and being touted as the next big thing? Yeah, those days feel like a lifetime ago. Now, she's known more for getting caught with steroids than for anything she did on the court.